ECU?
R.
Do you bleed purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors?
Hoist the colors!
It's time for the most in-depth look into the world of ECU athletics. Welcome to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Here's Stephen Igo.
Welcome in. It is Hoist the Colors on a Tuesday, October 21st edition of the program. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. If you got a question, comment, concern of the next hour, drop it there. We'll get to it over the course of our show. Always download the IBX Media app where you can find this show, The Patrick Johnson Show, Inside Pirate Athletics with Patrick Johnson and Blake Carroll last night, archived on the IBX Media app along with Talk of the Town, the Logan Zone, and much more. And make sure you subscribe and like on Apple Podcast or Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, and our YouTube page on 94.3 The Game. That way you never miss us going live. A lot to get to over the course of the next hour. As I mentioned, the comment section are always open, especially during a bye week. We'll take the conversation wherever you guys want to. But we're going to get into some heavy basketball discussion today. East Carolina basketball. We are 14 days away from tip-off. It'll be ECU Georgia Southern on Tuesday, November 4th. 7 p.m. tip-off inside Minges Coliseum. I can't remember the number. ECU has won a ridiculous amount of season openers in a row. They'll try to keep that streak going. But we had ECU Basketball Media Day today. We'll get into that and a whole lot more. We've got some interviews to play. Philip Pilkington was out there along with intern Chris Watson, who also is an intern with Hoist the Colors, so doing double intern duty, but he was with 94.3 today. They got a bunch of interviews up.
No, we're nice to him. We're paying him.
That's right.
We're just interning him.
He's just interning with us. He's part-timing with you guys. And a lot of interviews up on 94.3 YouTube, a lot of interviews up on Hoist the Colors YouTube as well. So stay tuned for that. We'll play some over the course of the next hour. What are your expectations for ECU basketball this season? 19 wins a year ago, much different roster, much tougher schedule. Let's hear what you think. We'll get into that over the course of the next hour. We're going to start, though, with some good news for the Pirates. 2 ECU alums are heading to the World Series. Some bad news for yours truly as a Seattle Mariners fan. The Toronto Blue Jays win Game 7 of the ALCS 4-3. Congrats to Jeff Hoffman, who K'd the side in the top of the ninth with some electric stuff. Maybe Seattle helped him with expanding the zone a bit, but hey, when you execute your pitches, that's what happens. Toronto off to the World Series to play the Los Angeles Dodgers. That series will start Friday. So, look, Trey Savage is going to go from single A, low A to begin the year to starting a game in the World Series, which is surreal. And we'll see what his starting assignment is. I would assume probably Gosman Friday, maybe Trey Saturday. We'll see how they line up. Painful thing to witness as a Seattle fan. And we'll get into the specifics of the game here in a minute because I want to tie it back into ECU baseball with a specific decision that Mariners manager Dan Wilson made that just left me flabbergasted, disappointed, and ultimately dejected. But Game 7s, look, somebody has to lose. The Mariners had a great year. The Blue Jays were quite honestly the probably more complete team, definitely the more complete lineup top to bottom. They set the tone. They set the table, I should say, the bottom of the order did, before the Springer home run with the leadoff walk, CNI single, and their 7-8-9 were more consistent. George Springer hits the go-ahead three-run homer in the bottom of the 7th. And, man, I told myself, Philip, going into the game, I was like, I'm not going to be that disappointed with a loss. It's been a great season, closer to the World Series than any Mariners team has gotten before, but I will be disappointed if they lose in heartbreaking fashion. And sure enough, in peak Mariners fashion, they had to give up a go-ahead three-run homer to the guy I disliked the most from his cheating days at the Houston Astros, George Springer. Pretty disgusting to watch, but at least it was a good game for those who did not have a rooting interest.
Yeah, man, condolences. I know. Been there. No, that's tough. But, yeah, hell of a season. And, you know, it's interesting. We go back to our preseason preview, and you talked about this team, and you talked about their ability to pitch, but you're worried about their ability to hit. Would that come together? And I think they did a really good job constructing a lineup. I thought that this team exceeded expectations, so, you know, I was happy for you guys in that. But, you know, when you get there, you don't think about the preseason and what the expectations were. You're only worried about the here and the now, of course, and hate it for you. And but I got to pull for the Blue Jays, man. I am not pulling for the freaking Dodgers unless they're playing the Yankees. So
Yeah.
I'm pulling for the Blue Jays.
I was about to say the Blue Jays are a division rival of your Red Sox, so that kind of feels
God, I hate the Dodgers so
a little
much.
sick as well. But yeah, I'll watch it because of the ECU connections, and I've got a personal relationship with Trey, as we talked about, so I'm very happy for Trey. I don't know Jeff as well, but it was pretty sweet to see, outside the fact it was against my Mariners, see him send his team to the World Series. Given his career arc, I mean, you're talking about a guy who a handful of years ago looked like he was done in pro baseball, and his resurgence has been pretty amazing. So
That's what happens when you're a pitcher and you go to the Rockies.
this is very true. And it comes full circle, too. The Blue Jays drafted him originally, trade him to the Rockies, and then he comes back, leads him to the World Series. So happy for Jeff Hoffman, Trey Savage, and the Pirate baseball family for obvious reasons. All right, I want to get into the decision, though, because this is something that I really like about Cliff Godwin and ECU baseball. When they get into the postseason, it doesn't matter what inning it is, and it really doesn't matter what game it is in a regional. If the game is on the line and therefore the season is on the line in postseason play, Cliff Godwin will go to his highest leverage arm in the biggest spot of the game when it comes up. And I've always been a huge fan of that because I'm it's not the 1990s or 1980s anymore when you've got defined roles for the closer. To me, you've got your high leverage arms. Most teams have 2 to 3. If you got one guy, you go to him, obviously in the biggest situation, especially if it gets into the middle late innings. But I've always respected it. You go to the highest leverage arm when the game is on the line. You either try to keep it there or you try to hold the lead, and you figure out the rest as it goes. And it's something that, it doesn't always work out, but to me, it gives you the best chance because the final 3 outs are not always the most important outs to get. They're always the toughest, but I've always respected that with Cliff Godwin.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think there's a few guys that are the exception to this rule. You have a few guys who you don't want to see inherit runners that are true closers. Like right. Boston's got Chapman. Chapman still is a true closer. But if you've got a more 2025 looking bullpen, it is high leverage, right? It's not a closer type mentality. And at the end of the day, that high leverage guy has got to be put in that situation. And if it's the damn 4th inning, then it's the 4th inning. I mean, that might be a little early, but you get my point.
Yeah. If you're trailing 3-0 in the 4th inning of Game 7, you've got to keep the deficit there. So you put in your highest leverage guy, in my opinion.
Yeah, you do. And that was one of those situations where I think your bullpen's built like that over in Seattle. It's just, it's not, hey, this is our 8th inning guy. This is our 9th inning guy. You guys don't have that right now. You've got starters, you got bullpen guys, and you got bullpen guys that are better than others, and guys who've historically inherited runners well. And, it's something I think Cliff Godwin, to your point, recruits really well. That guy, let's just be honest, this year was Ethan Young.
Yep.
Ethan Young and actually pitched better with guys on the base.
And how many mid-game appearances did he make?
I know. And it even seems like when he came in to start an inning, he would walk the bases loaded or something and then get everybody out, right? Like he always had to have guys on base. So, Coach Godwin went to Ethan all different times throughout the year. And Ethan stepped up in those situations, and I think that is what baseball has become, or what it should become, and it's how you should manage games. Again, you got to manage to your personnel, but that's how it's been this year with Seattle, and then you go against everything you believe going into Game 7. It's just weird, and I always say you do manage your pitching staff a little different in the playoffs, but it's more so the new school way than the old school way, right, in managing. If anything, if you are a team who, hey, we don't have high leverage guys, we have guys who have specific roles. If you're gonna, you go away from that. If anything, in the playoffs, you don't go from that to, oh yeah, we're gonna give guys defined roles. It's just not how it works. At the end of the day, you got to get this out. You don't worry about tomorrow. You don't worry about a textbook. You just get it done.
So the Mariners led 3-1, and it was the bottom of the 7th inning. Brian Wu, who I was a big fan of going throughout the bullpen, but coming off an injury. So, and everybody always says, somebody tweeted me this as well, which I can't stand this, but you can't Monday morning quarterback it. They went with the decision. And I was texting my friend, Will Stone, used to work with ECU Baseball, who's also a Seattle Mariners fan. We were texting, hey, do you leave Wu in here or do you go and go to the reliever? He was going in his 3rd inning, work in the bottom of the 7th, up 3-1. And I said at 10:12 p.m., Wu looks like he's getting better. I'd let him go and have Gabe and Munoz ready. Gabe Spire is their best lefty reliever. And then when they go to Bizardo at 10:28 p.m., I said, do not love Bizardo here. I would have had Munoz ready. He comes in, second pitch, 3-run bomb. Bizardo is probably their third or fourth best reliever. He had been pitching really well in the postseason. The other thing was he had thrown 2 innings the night prior. Munoz had not pitched since Game 5. He had 3 days off. Again, second and third, they're top of the order coming up. If you get them out right there, in my opinion, the stadium's dejected, and it may not have worked. He may have still hit a home run, although Munoz has only given up 2 home runs the entire season. So the odds of that are slim. If you get them out there and hold the lead, does it win you the game? Does it guarantee it? No, but at least it dejects the fans. You're through the top of the order, and you're 6 outs away. Munoz can probably give you 3 more outs, and then you figure it out from there. They had Bryce Miller, Luis Castillo also available. So I don't know if I'll ever be able to forgive Dan Wilson for going to Bizardo there. Your third or fourth best reliever. You also had Matt Brash in the bullpen, who's nasty, with the season on the line. And that will always eat at me. And that's why I respect Cliff Godwin and the managers that always go with their highest leverage arm in the key spot, whether it works out or not. I am a fan of that. And
there is one way. I understand it. You say it will always eat at you. Speaking from experience, because I've been in this similar situation, if you win the World Series next year, you'll forget about it.
What are the odds, though?
I know. But, now, part of it, too, was Grady Little got fired after he left Pedro in too long, and then Tito won a World Series. But, we still talk about it sometimes in Boston, but it doesn't eat away at us anymore because we still broke the curse and won it the next year. So if you win the World Series next year, I'm pulling for you that this doesn't have to eat away at you for the rest of your life, that you have revenge and you beat the Blue Jays in the CS and then go on to win a World Series, and then all wrongs will be righted. But that's the only way, because I do understand it, man. You have those certain PTSD moments as a fan, and that's one of them. And, you mentioned would it have won it? No, you're right. But also when you talk about the momentum and the energy in a stadium, I mean, you saw it the exact other way. You saw it be proven. The first out you guys made in the top of the 8th was that ground ball to the left side of the infield. Yeah. And the energy amongst the Blue Jays fans and the lack thereof from the Seattle dugout looked like it was the first out of the 9th, not the first out of the 8th. Because the momentum had switched. The game was over at that point.
Yeah, it was.
And I could feel it. So, you're right. There's no guarantee, but it's damn close that if you guys get out of that, the win's gone, and we're having a different conversation right now.
Yeah, it's one of those things, man. It hurts, but I accepted defeat as soon as that ball went over the fence. It is what it is. All right, we got some comments. Mariners lose, and the Blue Jays and Pirates are on to the World Series. Corsair's in the chat. He says, why do sports broadcasters love talking about baseball, so much? It's football season now and basketball season's coming up. Corsair, it's the World Series, man. We got 2 Pirates headed to the World Series. If you don't like baseball, then wait till next segment. We got people that complain when we talk basketball.
Lane.
Do we need to talk soccer, Corsair?
No.
I mean, come on, man. We talk all things sports. He must not watch during the spring because that's all we talk is baseball.
Yeah.
It's an East Carolina-based radio program. Yeah, we're talking about 2 Pirates going to the World Series, Corsair.
I know I know that was based off management. But the point is we were
and we tied it into Cliff Godwin.
Yeah. I thought my Ethan Young.
Come on, man. I'm already angry, Corsair. Don't mess with my emotions today.
I go throwing a table. Oh my goodness!
I'm in a fragile state. Right now.
He's just gonna punch the next person who walks through the door now. Poor Patrick.
Yeah. Patrick, watch out, buddy. All right. Anyways, 2 Pirates are heading to the World Series again. That'll be Friday. LA's got to go to Toronto. And Trey Savage, I would assume, probably starts game 2 or 3. We'll see how it slots out.
He pitched last on Monday. I don't think he throws.
For Sunday.
Oh, yesterday was Monday. Yeah,
yep.
You're right. Okay, so you're right. He'd be available Saturday. All right, disregard what I was about to say.
They threw
I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Gosman's their number 1, but he threw an inning last night, which I think, an inning on your essential bullpen day
He was going to throw that anyways. He just wasn't going to throw it to a hitter.
Tim Pernetti wants to know, do I regret buying tickets after Game 2 with the Mariners history for the World Series? I didn't buy them because I couldn't get in, so I don't regret it.
When you would have, they reimburse your money when things like that happen. I don't even think they charge your card until it's guaranteed, I think.
Yeah, so I don't regret trying. Once in a lifetime opportunity, and hopefully they're back, but nothing's guaranteed in sports. Let's get a break in. When we come back, we'll make Corsair Tech happy. We'll talk ECU basketball. We had media day. We've got interviews queued up with Jay Shane Woodard, also new Pirates Corey Calker and Eli DeLaurier. And we'll share some thoughts just about the event. I thought a first-class event over at ECU basketball. We'll recap that and more at the season 2 weeks ahead. This is Hoist the Colors.
The team of Flatlands Jessup is working overtime to help ensure that Eastern North Carolinians like you get the health insurance help you need this open enrollment period. New legislation passed meaning more people than ever qualify for affordable coverage. Let us help you today.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
Tired of the 1-800 numbers advertising Medicare products? Flatlands Jessup has 6 offices all throughout Eastern North Carolina. Get face-to-face help from our local award-winning licensed team. Stop by today. Flatlands Jessup, your whole world covered.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arg!
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Allen, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
Climb aboard as we set sail and hoist the colors. Ahar, matey! Back to the show with Steve and Igo on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in. We're going to talk some ECU basketball here in a minute. We had ECU Basketball Media Day, and looking forward to that. We've played some interviews in this show, and we'll play some interviews coming up later this week as well. All right, Corsair he wasn't happy that we were talking ECU or MLB. And yes, this is an ECU-based program, Corsair. He says, can't just suck up to y'all all the time, have to give a little critique. You shouldn't be so defensive. I mean, I'm just going to be defensive on this day because for obvious reasons. But we appreciate you listening in all seriousness, Corsair. We talk ECU like 95% of the time, but we also are sports fans in general, and we have to talk 5 hours of programming during a bye week when not a ton's going on. So we got to find stuff to talk about as well. And it is ECU. There are ECU things involved as well with the World Series. So just wanted to address that. But appreciate you listening. All right, Kevin Cozart had a question. Said, am I crazy to suggest all college officials report to NCAA instead of each conference? Think that would help with terrible officiating since American refs never do ECU any favors. So Philip, they used to call him Philip the Ref Pilkington. I know they do on the Patrick Johnson show. Not really on this show, but you do have some officiating experience. So what do you know about this?
Yes, basketball's actually got a little better of a deal with this. So I would go into that, but I'm not going to bore everybody with the details, take up time. Football, it is a little unfortunate that it's so conference based. You do report to the NCAA, but you also get assigned to a specific assigner who assigns games, and therefore that's how they handle hey, assigner X does everything for this conference. The tough thing with football, though, is if we just all had guys report to the NCAA directly and they just mix stuff up, there's a lot of chemistry when it goes into football officiating, more so than any other sport, as to, between the side judge and the back judge, or the, side judge and the line judge and the umpire and the referee. So they try and keep teams of officials together. You see it all the time in the NFL. Ed Hockley, when he was referee, and his back judge was always his back judge. So they try and keep guys together. It is unfortunate. I get what people are saying. Well, hey, what if this group got a MAC game one week, an American game the next week, an SEC game the week after that, because there's less chance of collusion? You're 100% right. I get it. I understand the frustration. This does need to be addressed. You're right that there does need to be another way to do this. But unfortunately, you're assigned to a conference right now, and this is how it goes. And it does allow for potential collusion, but it is what it is. And it's something, college is so weird. You don't see, at the high school level, you might referee all in Eastern North Carolina, but you're doing different conferences, right? So it kind of is, it sucks, but it is what it is.
Anytime you have ties to a specific conference, it's a little shady, especially like when ECU goes to Alabama next year and it's SEC officials, they're not going to get any calls. I mean, it's just.
But that's not the difference in us winning and losing a conference championship.
And I will say, after the Tulsa screw job in 2020, I have been on high alert of American officials since then, and there's some shady stuff going on. But maybe they're just that incompetent. I tend to lean more towards that than just like them trying to screw teams over. So that's kind of how I feel. But anyways, all right, ECU Basketball Media Day was today. Shout out to Grady Dillon over at ECU. Did a great job putting on the event. Also doing it on an ECU football bye week, I think, is a great idea. Just from the coverage standpoint, we're talking about things we need to talk about. And ECU basketball gets the spotlight here. 2 weeks away from tip-off, it'll be Georgia Southern. So we'll play Jay Shane Wooder here in a little bit. But first off, any initial thoughts? I know, Philip, you're chewing, so I'll give mine.
Sorry.
You're good. We haven't had time for lunch.
No,
so
I'm not.
It's I thought, look, a lot of personable guys on this roster. We'll hear Jay Shane in a minute. He's one of those. Giovanni Imajuru from England, George Mason transfer. Really fun talking to him. Eli Delorier, Providence transfer. Enjoyed talking to him as well. And then, didn't get a chance to talk to Jordan Riley, but I've talked to him in the past a lot. Vito Perkovic was a guy that another international student from Croatia that I thought was very well composed. Isaiah Mbang, William & Mary transfer. So a lot of personable guys. Seemed like they get along well, and overall I was impressed with the event.
They're coming together. I think this team really likes each other. You can tell by the way they speak of one another and the amount of work that, Coach has talked about them putting, in outside the gym or outside the allotted practice hours, right? So I think that's first and foremost. These guys are going to come together. They're going to play hard. I think, sometimes people say, hey, man, there's all these people coming from all these different places. I think this kind of forces them to adapt. You talk about all the international things. You talk about, different coming from different areas of the country. Guy was talking to Michael Perry about how you coach a guy differently if he's from the JUCO ranks as opposed to a guy who comes from the Big East, right? And so I think these guys all coming from different culture when it comes to basketball, when it comes to life and all that, it's really forcing them to mold together, because if they don't, it's going to go south, right? So I think the tough question is really from us right now is just who's going to be, kind of, hey, time's running down, who's going to get you that final bucket kind of thing. But I will say their size paired with athleticism, unlike maybe some in past years, and they're tough, man. They've all those guys talked about how much of a grunt practice has been, how they've been physical down low, and we've seen it in the practice we went to. Steven is also speaking with Darren Vaught, who's there, some of the practices he's been to, how they really feel like the big guys are getting after it. They're athletes, but they're tough. Coach, lack of a better term, is allowing them to foul each other at practice and get away with it, because they're wanting these guys to play through contact. They're wanting their big guys to be true athletes. So I like the group. Again, I want to know who the go-to scorer is. That's really my own question. But I think everybody on this team that I spoke to, they got a really good head on their shoulders, high IQ guys, and those are the kind of guys that Coach Schwartz attracts. When you're a tough defensive-minded coach, you're gonna get high IQ basketball guys. You're gonna get guys who are unselfish, guys who like to share the ball, and that's kind of the thing that you saw the most consistently with this is guys who are willing to who are worried about the name on the front of the jersey and not the one on the back.
I have no doubt they're going to be tough, and I have no doubt they're going to be physical. I do wonder how consistently will they score. We'll talk about that more here in a minute. Let's hear from one of those guys who I know is going to bring a lot of toughness to the court, a lot of versatility. Jay Shane Woodard, second year, former JUCO transfer, sat down with Jay Shane, and here is how it sounded.
All right, here with Jay Shane Woodard, and Jay, compared to this time last year, man, just how much more comfortable are you going into year two at ECU?
Way comfortable. Settling in last year, it was fun, but like this year, it feels a lot way more fun because I know a bunch of things that are happening, how people are playing, how scouts go, and I can everything I learned last year, I can teach the new guys, which is also fun to me. So definitely a lot more comfortable.
Where have you seen your game grow the most on the court?
It's slowed down for me. I feel like now the game is very slowed down. I get to see a lot more on the floor because I've seen more like last year. So I feel like everything's slowed down. It's helped a lot to see open reads or easier baskets that I haven't seen before.
So you were doing some point guard, last year along with playing off the ball. Are you mainly playing off the ball now, or just are you getting any work at the point as well?
Yeah, I've been playing the point guard, just smaller reps, just in case. I need to get thrown in there whenever our point guard or our backup point guard is out. But yeah, I've been still getting those reps in.
So you mainly playing on the wing now?
Yeah, I'm at the two.
Okay.
2, 3, yeah.
So what, with your, coach talked about just a minute ago, he wants to see you try to take a more aggressive approach in scoring. Do you feel like that's kind of come naturally too with RJ, some of those guys moving?
Yeah, I've always been kind of a passive scorer because I like to get my teammates involved too. Yeah. That's the funnest part about the game. So, but yeah, he's definitely want me to attack more, get downhill. So that role is going to be big, coming downhill, drawing fouls, getting to free throw line, getting to my kill zone, which is inside of the paint, getting up there, high releasing. So, yeah.
How much you feel like, look at you, you feel like you've added some muscle. How much you feel like you've grown physically since you got here?
I feel like I've grown a lot. I'm not going to lie. It's crazy to see because all my life I thought I couldn't gain weight. It's hard to gain weight. And so all my life, I'm just thinking I can't gain weight. I got to ECU, I've gained a bunch of weight. So yeah, I've grown a lot, and not even on terms of gaining weight. I jump higher, I'm faster. It's a bunch. Thanks to Coach Cullen, our weight coach, he helps us out a lot.
Who's impressed you coming in new to the program this offseason?
Coming in new, I would definitely say Corey Cocker, and Vito. We call him Big Perk. Corey's a JUCO transfer. He's just like me. I like him. He's a point guard. He's fast. Vito, he's a 6'10" center forward. He's we call him Big Perk, but he's like a Jokic. So he pass, layups. He can't jump over a pencil, but he's a facilitator. It's crazy. He's great. Yeah.
I'm a Nuggets fan, so I like to hear that. Yeah. But when you look at Corey coming as a JUCO like you did from Florida, how much have you tried to just guide him along, take him under your wing at times?
A bunch, actually, because I know how he felt. He came from Florida. He's actually in my conference, too. So really? I try to show him a lot of workarounds of being a point guard. I'm not a point guard myself, but I've learned from my past teammates. So telling him a lot of things from switching over from JUCO into the Division I level, certain passes that won't be there or certain things that happen, I'll let him know.
The schedule this year obviously tough, but you got to relish that as a player, right? Aren't you looking forward to some of these games and the challenges you guys will face?
I look at them as experiences. I'm going to look back at this 10, 20 years later and be able to say I played at these places, played against these people. So I look at it as an experience, fun experience, yeah.
Last thing, what do you feel like the identity of this team is or will be by the time you guys get rolling?
Our identity definitely is going to be rebounding, offensive rebounding for sure, because we're going to be super aggressive just like we were last year. And getting downhill, we're a big get downhill team, fast, athletic. We're super bigger now. So, yeah.
He is Jay Shane Woodard. Jay Shane, we appreciate it, man.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right, there's Jay Shane Woodard, and I feel like this team, if they're going to get to where they want to go, ultimately Jay Shane Woodard is going to become one of the leading scorers. I mean, maybe that is an obvious statement to a degree, but just talking to people within the program, there is a ton of promise within his offensive game expanding. He can shoot the ball, I think, a little bit better than maybe he showed last year, and I just think when he takes control of the ball and has a score-first mindset, he is going to get to the paint, he's going to draw a lot of fouls, and if he can improve as a free throw shooter, we know he's a stat sheet stuffer, blocks, steals, rebounds. I think his scoring is going to take a level this year, so looking forward to a big season out of Jay Shane Woodard. Let's go ahead and get a second break in. We'll come back. We'll hit segment 3. We'll talk about our expectations for the season. What is a fair expectation? I'll be honest, I'm having trouble figuring it out against this schedule. I'll run some numbers during the break with all the turnover and try to discuss some of that, and Philip will give his take as well. This is Hoist the Colors on a Tuesday.
Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human. About creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown. At National Finance, we're all about hometown support, just like ECU football. National Finance helps us win on and off the field. They've got your back when you need it most. Fast, easy personal loans for life's big plays. And just like us, they're committed to Eastern North Carolina. National Finance, proud supporters of ECU athletics. Visit nfcmoney.com for loans as fast as today.
Pirates play here. Arr! This is Hoist the Colors Radio with Stephen Igo.
Yes! That was so good!
On 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back in. Hoist the Colors here on a Tuesday edition of the show. It's a bye week. we're talking a lot of basketball. As we had Basketball Media Day, again, we'll have a bunch of interviews up, 94.3 The Game YouTube, as well as Hoist the Colors. We've got a question from Hunter. Hunter, we'll get to that in a minute. He wants to know which newcomer on the roster will have the most impact this season. And if you guys got any more questions, Kaysen wants to know our projected starting five. We'll hit that as well. All right, this ECU basketball team, a lot of unknowns, just as with every basketball team in the American across the country. You know, we know what Jordan Riley is going to provide. We kind of know what Jay Shane Woodard and Trevion LeBeau are going to provide. I think we believe Corey Calker is going to make an impact at point guard. Giovanni Imajuru going to make an impact at the center position, but a lot of unknowns, which makes this discussion a difficult one. Philip Pilkin back in the studio, 94.3 The Game, behind the glass. It's like last year, Pirates go 19-14, 176 in the net. One of the weaker non-conference schedules. They had 17 Division I wins, but it was the most wins ECU's had in years. They won another conference tournament game. So, like, what defines success this season? Given all the offseason turnover, we were kind of talking during the break, and I think we settled on, I think if you finish top 150 in the net, and for me, top half of the conference, that's a success. I mean, ideally, you'd want to finish top 125, top 100 in the net and be in the mix for a clear NIT, maybe even an at-large if you have some crazy success non-conference-wise for an NCAA. But, like, realistically, given the program's history, I just want to continue to see them moving forward. And I know they invested more this offseason, so I think my measure of success, more so than a win total, is are you in the top 50 in the net? Ken Pom has you 146 in the preseason, and if you finish top half of the conference for a second year in a row, you're starting to establish some consistent, legitimate winning ways.
You know, the tough thing about this, I think preseason, that's fair. If 4 or 5 weeks into this thing, it looks like we've got a true number one scorer and a true number two scorer, I'm going to up those expectations a smidge. Not crazy. I'm not asking for an at-large bid, not asking for top 80. But I think right now, like you said, if you can finish 7th or better in the conference, 150 in the net, you feel good. Because, again, it's a good roster, but I don't know if it's got a great score. If we find a great score, find 2 great scores, I'm going to bump that up. I'm going to say give me 125 in the net and give me, then I would feel better maybe too when you look at the conference as a whole, what your conference win total would be, and you're hoping for more of a 12-6 kind of conference than, last year. But I think right now, if you have another 10-8 season, because I think the conference is going to be a little better than it was a year ago, and you can compete in some of these out-of-conference games. And they've done it under the Mike Schwartz era. Yes, South Carolina hasn't been great, but you still competed with them, competed with some other programs. So go out there and look competent, against Sparty, against Carolina. And there's some other teams in this conference. Man, Richmond's probably going to be solid again this year. Wilmington's always tough. Like, there's some opportunities here out of conference to really beat some good teams.
Richmond preseason 119, according to Ken Pom. UNCW right after them at 120. To give some perspective, ECU preseason by Ken Pom at 146. So you're going to be a dog in both those games. You're going to be a dog, obviously, against Michigan State and UNC. St. Bonaventure 122 preseason Ken Pom. So you're going to be a dog every non-conference game away from home. Can you steal one of those?
I don't know. Hubert might mess it up between now and December the 22nd.
If you steal one of those and you win all your home games, I think you feel good. If you just look competent. Now, taking care of business at home, easier said than done, as we know. Non-conference ECU basketball schedule. The conference slate, it's a very, look, the American gets poached and has more turnover than any conference just about because it's like the highest level right beneath the Power Four. So the top players in the league, they either go to Memphis because we know Penny loves to just take the best players from the teams he plays.
Yep.
Or they go to the Big 12 or whatever. Looking at the American, Memphis is the top team, according to Ken Pom, going into the year. Again, a lot of this projection rated. They're 52nd. You also have North Texas at 88. And then you got a bunch of teams here kind of grouped in the 100 to 140 range. UAB at 98, South Florida at 104, Tulane at 114, Wichita State at 128, Temple at 131, Tulsa, which has been bad the last 2 years, at 139, FAU at 145, ECU at 146, UTSA at 148, Rice at 168, Charlotte at 190, and that round. So all the American teams are projected to be in the top 200, according to KenPom. Now, do we really think that's going to happen? I don't know, but ECU is right in that mix of the middle of the conference where I think nobody really knows how this is all going to work out. And so if you can finish upper middle again and set yourself up, I mean, realistically, this is all going to come down to that for ECU. Like, getting at large is going to be tough. Can you set yourself up for a good run of the conference tournament, which now with the new rules, finishing higher is going to be more important than ever to give your chance at a bye or a double bye, triple bye, I guess, in the case of the top teams in the league. So, I don't know. Finishing again, knowing what ECU invested, I know internally the hope is, all right, we're investing in basketball. You got the big donation from Black Welder. You know, you need to see some results in terms of finishing in the conference specifically, I think is where they want to see it. So, I don't know, it's just so many unknowns makes this stuff tough to predict.
I feel like there's more knowns even than last year. You know,
it feels that way.
Yeah, we had RJ coming in, and we felt good about CJ. We felt good about Jordan, and I felt like I had a better judge kind of the league as a whole. I'm going to say something that is not going to be the sexiest thing to do in the November, but if you want to get a good read on ECU basketball, you have to watch some rando out-of-conference games between our league and other people. But, go on there and Google CBS Sports, I think it is, does a good job of, listing all the MTEs out of conference. And there are some teams in our conference that are going to some decent-level MTEs. So make a point to go out there and when East Carolina's not playing to watch some of these other games so you can get a feel on the roster. So it's just a little bit of advice. I know it's not the sexiest thing to watch a North Texas out-of-conference basketball game, but hey, it's it's part of it sometimes.
Some comments here and questions. So the newcomer that will make the biggest impact, I think it's got to be Corey Calker or Giovanni Imajuru. Every interview I had, who impressed you the most? Those two guys were brought up. Are you getting any other sense?
No, I think so. I think those are the big two. I think Corey can really run this offense well. It's and the other thing, if Corey's succeeding really well running the offense, you hope that means that Jay is shooting the ball at a higher rate. Jay shot the ball pretty well last year. He just didn't shoot it that often. There were sometimes he put it on the floor, and it was the right thing to do. Sometimes maybe he could have kicked it out, and maybe the pass would have came back to him and opened up for an opportunity to shoot the ball. So I think this offense goes as Corey goes.
And Kenny Curlins says 7 more wins. Are you saying 7 more wins than losses, or 7 more wins compared to last year? That would be 26 wins. That would be an incredible season, Kenny.
Yeah, you're talking about an at-large bid with 26 wins.
He says we need to beat teams at home at the beginning of the season and start strong. I couldn't agree more. If nothing else, beat the teams at home you got to beat. I can't remember who it was last year, Gardner-Webb maybe. There's a few losses at home in non-conference that, I get it. At the start of the season, you're trying to figure out what works, team chemistry and all that, but, got to find a way to avoid those crushing losses in terms of the net and the RPI and all that. So, again, tougher non-conference schedule, but the home games, for the most part, are still very winnable. And Pirate 2031 wants to know, does this have any chance to be the best basketball season in the last 15 years? I mean,
if we can find our go-to scorer, it does.
There's always a chance. I think this team has legitimate talent compared to the Conference USA teams, but also think the American with this investment is going to be better, and I think the schedule's tougher. So a chance maybe, but a lot has to go right.
But again, I think there's a chance to be the best team, not necessarily the most successful team. There's a difference.
I tell you what, should we play Corey Calker now and then get our final break in?
Sure.
Let's do that. Let's hit Corey Calker, the newcomer we were talking about, who could make a big impact this year. Here is our interview with him.
All right, here with Corey Calker, and just what's the transition been like, man, coming to ECU? How's it been?
On the court or off?
Yeah, both.
I'll say on the court. Realize the game's way more faster, bigger players, more athletic and stronger. And then I'll say that, yeah.
So, we know you were at one point at least looking like you were going to Louisville in your recruitment. What led you to East Carolina? What was it about the Pirates?
Really, it was just the coaching staff, honestly. They were like texting me, calling me every day, just checking on me, how I'm feeling. And yeah, they were just calling me like way more. And it's just like I wanted to be at a place where I'm wanted. So it was like they really wanted me a lot. So I was like, I have to go.
Jay Shane, I was talking to him. He obviously came from, I think your conference in junior college. How was he taking you under his wing, kind of showed you the ropes maybe as a JUCO guy?
Yeah, really, like when I first got here, I was out there like some silly turnovers. And he was like, like those passes worked at JUCO, but it's really not going to work at the D1 level. And then just the speed, like I said, it's way fast. So you got to be like really in shape and then in condition. So.
Coach Schwartz says you're a guy who doesn't get tired. Is that true? I mean, I feel you got to get tired at some point.
Yeah, I definitely do get tired. I just don't try to show it because if you do show it, that's when I feel like the opponent's going to try to take advantage of that. So, yeah.
And he's a guy, Coach Schwartz at times, so asks his point guard to guard the length of the floor, also run the offense. So, like, I don't know, do you feel like you're ready for that role if he asks you to do that stuff?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure. I'd say I'm definitely ready. He just says I have to use my voice a little more, but yeah, I feel like I'm ready.
I know y'all scrimmage at Wake the other day. Just what was that experience like, knowing you're facing a good team? What can y'all learn from that?
Really, we learned a lot. We're just trying to really be ready for our first game.
Yeah.
So we took a lot from that and just trying to work on the stuff that we needed to work on, that we saw we need to improve on. So. Yeah.
What's it been like with Isaiah Mbang coming into? I know y'all both can play the point.
Yeah.
How's that relationship been like practicing against him, playing alongside him?
It's been good. Honestly, we've been going head to head like every day, and we really cool off the court. So it's just always good to have like that competitor to just always like sharpen iron sharpen iron. With guys coming from different places, including yourself, how important is it to build that chemistry? On and off the court to make sure y'all are all as one? I'll definitely say it's very important. I'll say that because it just definitely builds chemistry. I really don't know how to describe it, but it's just like I'll say it's very important.
Do you feel like y'all have done a good job of doing that?
Yeah. Like if you see like 2 or 3 of us, most of the time the whole team is there. So that's what I would say.
What do you feel like is the identity of this team, or will be, when y'all really get rolling?
Play fast, press the glass. They call it 41 bull rush. So, and yeah, play fast and be in the sniper gap. So, yeah.
So I see the hair. Is that going to be the game day look too? Or what?
No. I got to get it done. I was going to get it done before the first game. So, yeah. But it gives me a couple of inches, make me look taller. So.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Corey Calker, appreciate the time, man. Best of luck this season.
Yep, thank you.
All right, there's Corey Calker, new JUCO point guard transfer. Look to see a lot of him this season in the purple and gold. Let's get our final break in. We'll try to give our stab at the projected starting 5, and we also got a question that we need to answer about who gets the ball when ECU needs a bucket at the end of a game. We'll try to figure that out as well. This is Hoist the Colors on a Tuesday.
Hurry to Greenville Toyota for model year-end savings on a Camry. Just $229 a month. $229 a month. Or new RAV4, $279 a month. $279 a month. Only during our model year-end move-out. Right now at Greenville Toyota.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt & Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt & Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked-to-order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in Color and let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
It's Greenville Toyota's model year-end move-out. Save on a new Corolla, just $149 a month. $149 a month. Or new Tacoma, $249 a month. $249 a month. Now get a move on and
everything
save
you
at
need to
Greenville
know in the
Toyota.
world of ECU athletics. This is Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back in. Final segment here. Hoist the Colors. Philip Pilkington alongside. We had a question from Kason Romali on this ECU Basketball Media Day to project the starting five. So let's go through it. And it's always funny to go back at the end of the year and see what changes, because usually what we think is not what happens. And that includes the coaches. We've been doing this a long time. All right, but I think your projected starting point guard right now would be Corey Calker. I mean, feel free, if you want to deviate from me at all, Philip, feel free to butt in, but I'll just run through it how I see it. I think Corey Calker starts at the point. I think wherever you want to call it a 2 or 3, I think you got Jay Shane Woodard and Jordan Riley at the 2 and the 3. I definitely think you're going to have Giovanni Imazuru at the 5. So for me, the question is, who starts at the 4? Now, they have said all along they want to be bigger, which would lead me to believe they're going to start Eli DeLaurier or Reed Kaysen at the 4. They've said Trayvon LeBeau has moved to more of the 3 than the 4, which he played last year. So my official prediction is DeLaurier gets to start at the 4, and so your starting 5 would be Calker, Riley, Woodard, DeLaurier, Imazuru, which would give you a lot of size and length. But it wouldn't shock me if Reed Kaysen starts as well. Any thoughts?
Yeah, he kind of hit on Reed potentially starting to at the 4. I think Imazuru is definitely the 5. I think the only thing I could maybe see change in that is and I hope it doesn't, because I think that means Jay's taking a step back. But what if we don't see Jay and we see either Mbang or Tybo Bailey? I don't think that's the case. I think those are your backcourt. Those are your rotational pieces in the backcourt. But look, Corey's going to be the one, and what's his name? Jordan Riley will be one of the wings. With that being said, Isaiah Mbang, I did talk to him, and he said that he has been working with both the 1 and the 2, depending on who is on the court with him. So he is one of those guys. He will run the point if Corey's not on the court, I think. And if Corey is on the court, he'll run the 2.
And a lot of this depends on matchups, too, because what if you play a team in the opener that has no real bigs and they're forcing you to guard the perimeter? Are you going to leave Imazuru out there? Are you going to leave Reed Kaysen out there? You could go back to, playing Woodard and LeBeau if you have to at the 4 or 5. I mean, it's just a lot of it is matchup dependent.
DeLaurier, I think, can guard on the perimeter. He talks to me about it. He talks to me about how his brother's a little more athletic than he was, so he had to become a better perimeter player, both offensively and defensively, being number 3 out of 4 brothers, just because they were older, so they were a little naturally better athletes at that time. So I think you could see him at the 5 in that situation potentially, maybe not as a starter, but as a rotation at the 5. So They can do a lot of things with this lineup. That's what I like. I think there's a lot of versatility in this lineup right now.
If ECU needs a bucket, who is getting the ball to make that happen? Hunter Corbett wants to know. I think that is the big question. I mean, I would go at this point, Jay Shane Woodard. I mean, I think he is your best downhill driver. I haven't seen enough of Carker to know. Riley is physical, but I just don't know if he has the handles to just take the ball at the top of the key and just drive in and score. But I guess you got to go Woodard or Riley until Carker proves he is that guy.
You're putting the ball in Jay's hands, and you're finding a way to get Riley open for a catch and shoot or a catch and a drive behind Woodard when everybody's crashed on Woodard. So those are your two, but I think Jay's got the ball. Jay's making the play, but the shot still could be designed to go to Jordan.
If Carker's legit, he definitely turns into that guy as your point guard, your facilitator, but that's just a question at this point. And the one thing Riley can do is he can back somebody down the paint if he has the right matchup. So you have some options, but certainly no R.J. Felton and no C.J. Walker this year, at least to start the season. So that'll be worth watching, the first close game East Carolina has in 2025-26. So good to get some basketball talk in. We'll continue to run some interviews. We didn't have time to get Eli DeLaurier up today. We'll get some of our other guys' interviews in the coming days. All right, we're out of time. Appreciate Philip as he threw himself up on camera for the close.
Sorry, my bad. I'm sorry.
He's had a long day.
I was doing a lot of different things.
Yeah. All good, brother. We'll be back tomorrow at 12 noon. Kevin Monroe and more. We'll see you then on Hoist the Colors.